three practices really helped me reprogram my subconscious mind over time. And one was fasting. I first started doing 16-hour fasts. And then I started doing 24-hour fast. And then I started doing the longest I've ever gone. I wanted to do 72 days, but guys, that shit is not easy. I did 56-hour fast. Okay. And the reason why I say fasting is because there's this quote from Dr. Stephen Covey from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, where he talks about between stimulus and response, there's a choice. There's a moment. So what I mean by stimulus, right before you get that trigger and you usually just act off of it, that feeling that you get, there's usually a moment before you decide and make that decision. It's small. Some of us have, it's a small moment, maybe a quick second. But you can start to train that moment to last 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, a little longer, so that you don't act out a behavior that no longer serves you. Okay? And what I mean by that, what fasting, how does fasting actually do that for you? See, when you abstain for eating, you're going to notice throughout your day, it's like, oh, I just passed a Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, I just talked to McDonald's. Oh, I'm hungry. I smell the food, right? You're going to notice these things. But you're going to tell yourself, no, we're not eating. We're doing a 16-hour fast. Or no, we're not eating. We're doing a 48-hour fast, right? It's teaching you that you don't have to satisfy a desire just because you feel something. You start to build emotional resilience, because this also helps you in understanding that you don't have to feel angry at someone. You don't have to feel grief. You don't have to feel anything unless you choose to feel it. Now, will you get triggered by the environment? Yes, you will. You will get triggered by the environment. But the amount of time that you give an emotion will be your choice as you train this muscle. Because that's what it is. You're training a muscle. For so long, your body and your mind have been working in a way in tandem together with good and bad habits that you have accepted this is just who I am. But it's not. It's just your programmed behaviors and patterns that you've conditioned over years. And if you want to recondition yourself, you can. It's a choice. You see, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about your personality creates your personal reality. Your personality is just the accumulation of all the habits and thinking that you've been doing. So if you want to change your personal reality, you just need to change your personality. And changing your personality really means changing how you think and feel and act on a daily basis. Then there are tools that you can use to start to break the program that is you. I'd say fasting is one of those tools because, like I said, it teaches you to say no. You may really want to eat, but you don't have to eat. You don't have to do anything that you don't choose to do. Okay? The other tool that helped me, and I do these things because it's lifestyle, guys, right? I've accepted them as a behavior that I'm willing to do for myself. I love to fast. Now, I won't fast like I used to. Like I said, fast 16, 18 hours, but I usually aim to do a 2 to 3 day fast. I go as long as I can. It's a muscle. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. And I actually want to start bringing back 16 to 18-hour fast because honestly, I just felt the most productive when I was doing it. It's just hard to break in that habit at the beginning, but also that's on me not being intentional about who I want to be at the end of the day. Okay? Now, keep updated on that. But the next tool that really helps you recondition your subconscious behaviors, your 95%, your program, your internal state is meditation. Guys, there's different meditations for different things, but I'm going to tell you how I use meditation. The way I use meditation, right, is that when I meditate, I aim for 30 minutes to an hour. And there's a reason why. I remember when I first started meditating, I'd get maybe 5 to 10 minutes because I just wanted to get up and do something, right? But that just told me something. My body is in charge of me. When I said, hey, we're going to stay here and sit, the body starts to get jittery. You start to think all these different thoughts. You start to, want to move and do something. And again, guys, it's a habit. It's like going to the gym. When you first do it, you're not going to be great at it. Just build up on it, right? So in that process of meditating for 5 minutes today, 5 minutes tomorrow, 5 minutes the next day, then maybe 10 minutes in a couple of weeks, 15 minutes in a couple of weeks after that, 20 minutes in a couple of weeks, you start to train the body to only act when you say it should act, not when it tells you to move. The flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. And understand that in meditation, you learn to calm down the mind and you learn to control the body. and you start to create a relaxed state. Okay, that's the key thing about the meditation is when you're in a state of relaxation. That's the goal of the meditation, is to get yourself in just such a relaxed state. You can go walking too. It's anything that really just gets you in a relaxed state. Because when you're in a state of that's relaxed, when your muscles are not tense, you don't feel an emotional state. You don't feel an emotion. Most of the times, the reason why we're acting is because we felt some type of emotion that triggered us, and it made us, and we acted off of that emotion because we wanted to satisfy that emotion in some shape or form. So when you're meditating, you're learning to remove all tension from your body so that you can be in a relaxed state. So when you have a trigger, something that triggered you, you can focus on relaxing yourself so that you can remove the electrical charge from that trigger, and it doesn't force you to act. You start to be in control of your experience, your life experience. Now you can start changing your habits, changing your behaviors, start doing new things, and also put yourself in new states that are actually productive. Because, right, this is the key here, is like, life doesn't happen to you, right? You don't have to feel emotions. They don't have to come to you. You can, nothing wrong with that. But when you are intentional about the emotions that you feel, you start to make things happen for you, because the body and the universe only recognizes emotion. It creates a electrical charge, creates a frequency, and you attract who you are, not what you want, not what you desire. You attract the emotional state that you are in right here in this moment. So if you like guys, it's been night and day for me. Like, where the times where I kept myself in a confident state, I did things confidently. The times when I kept myself in the depressed state, I didn't do things because I was too afraid. I was depressed. I didn't feel good about myself. So I've noticed that behavior and that pattern over the years, and I'm understanding for myself, at least, to keep myself in a high confidence state. Just like now, so I can show up for content. I don't keep my, right? I'm still working on the habit this time because I'm more aware of it than I ever been now. I can start to condition this new behavior, this new thinking, and become someone with, and start to become the person that I idealize in my own mind, how I see myself. Right, so there's two. So we talked about fasting, we talked about meditation, and the last tool, I'd say, is visualization. This is the bread and butter, boys and girls. That's the key. It's visualization. The key is visualization, right? Because if your brain cannot tell the difference between what is imagined and real, that means you can create an imagined experience that basically creates the same physical sensations of an actual real experience. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about using that visualization ability to start to create a reality in your life that has yet to happen, and you manifest it. Because now when you put that frequency, that charge into the universe, it exists somewhere. You only need to hold on to that frequency and and be pulled by it. Because as you start to live life, and guys, I can only speak from my own experience, as you start to live life, you start to have serendipitous moments, things that align you to the right things that you want. You start to meet the right people, you start to get the right knowledge, you start to get the right aha moments, and you start to act. And this is where I really think that you're being guided by God, right? Because it's not about what you know, it's about how you feel. And when you feel that you're being guided by something greater than yourself, then all the right things start to come in your way. And it's worked for me. I can only speak from my own experience. It has worked for me. So I decided to use it for everything else in my life. And I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated on it. And I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm going to be perfect here, guys. None of us are. Sometimes I'm going to get on my bike and I'm going to fall off. But I'm going to get right back on the bike and I'm going to fall off. Right? That's just how it works. That's how it always works. Okay. So when you can start to visualize, create a new mental and emotional state, you start to create a new state of being. When you can start conditioning that over and over again, you start to create a new homeostasis balance within your own body. You're a new chemical state. Because you got to understand, every time you think a thought, it sends an electrical charge. Right? Every time you think a thought, it sends an electrical charge. That gets sent to your chemical factory, which creates your feeling state, which creates your thinking and feeling state, which is your state of being. And right now you're at a homeostasis balance for your thinking and feeling state. Okay? So if you can change this thinking and feeling state to be something new, you start to create a new experience in your life. That's why we talked about, right? The significant problems that we face cannot be solved with the same level of thinking that got us there. And science has already shown us that most of us are thinking about the same thoughts. 90% of our thoughts are the same thoughts from yesterday and the same thoughts from the day before that, with just small nuances or small changes. So what do you need to do? You need to think greater than yourself right now. Think greater than your environment right now. Think greater than the problems that you're facing right now. But not through effort, but through allowing God to show you the way, God, Spirit, whatever it is for you. Just using the universal laws to help you solve your problems in this earthly realm, the game. It's what I used when I was in the hospital and they told me I was going to be paralyzed. It's what I used when they said I had cancer. It was what I used when I said, honestly, I'm not going to believe any of that stuff. I'm going to just focus on thinking and feeling in a state that I wish. I saw in my mind's eye 2 to 3 years ago, me going ham at the gym, me getting jacked, me doing things I never did before. And honestly, I manifested that. It happened. That's what I do now. I'm not saying it's easy, because it's not. It's not easy. But I'm saying I'm able to do it because I saw it first in my mind's eye. I felt like the person before the experience actually came into existence. But it took time, because sometimes, guys, I don't even believe. But I know that's just the evil one trying to take the knowledge away from me, trying to say, hey, man, whoa, we can't have him accessing the secrets to the universe. But I digress. Hopefully you learned something from that. I will see you in the next video, folks, France. And let's hope God gives us the next good one, because it's all off the dome, my friends.